Look at that. Look how sharp and crisp that stiletto is. Ooh. Alright y'all, so welcome back to another video, y'all. Today's video is going to be a shaping video. And I've been getting a lot of requests to do this video, y'all. So I'm going to do that today. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and hop right into it. We're going to do 5 shapes today, you guys. The shapes are going to be tapered, square, coffin, square, stiletto, and then we're also going to do an almond nail. So these are like the most popular shapes that you're typically going to get. And if you can do these shapes, you pretty much can do all the other ones if you get any more. I may or may not do square. Actually, we may do lipstick, because every time I get a class, y'all, like I always let them pick one shape that they want to do that we don't already cover, and everybody already picks lipstick. Everybody always picks lipstick, so we may do that. All right, so for our shaping video, y'all, you're going to need a straight edge nail clipper, and this is straight, you guys. So you see how it's straight? Sometimes you get the ones that have a curve in them. You need to make sure it's straight. So you want to get a straight tip cutter, a straight nail tip cutter. And then you also need a file. My file is going to be an 80/80 grit file. So this is going to be very sharp, and you can hear it. And I'll actually rub 2 together. You can hear how sharp they are versus some that are a little bit duller. These are going to be my tips, you guys, from my website. And we're just going to hop right into this video, y'all. So we're going to first start with let's start with tapered square. So my tips are already naturally tapered square, you guys. But if they were not, all you would want to do is cut right here. Okay? And you're going to do the same thing on both sides. So I'll just cut a little bit, right? And you want to cut a super thin slice off the nail, okay? And we're just going to cut that square tip just right off the side, y'all. And you don't want to turn it in at all. You want to have it straight, parallel, and you're literally just fouling off a little bit of the sides, okay? All right, so now we're going to take that file, y'all, and we're going to literally keep it right up against that side wall. And we want to keep it straight. You don't want to turn that tip in, okay? And I really didn't need to cut anything, you guys. I just wanted to show y'all. Hopefully I'm not off the camera. All right, so for our tapered square, and then all we're gonna do is go across the side here. Me personally, y'all, I file upside down. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to look at it from this angle right here, okay? I'm going to lean it downward so that it's facing me. I'm gonna hold it from behind, and I'm going to just brush that tip flesh and making it straight, you guys. Okay? All right, I'm gonna turn it back around. All right, and this is a little bit more narrow than my tapered square usually is. But y'all, this is going to be tapered square, y'all, okay? So when you're filing, you don't want to turn it underneath. You want to just have it just like this, y'all. And all you're really doing is bringing those walls in just a little bit so they're not wide. They're like a tapered look, okay? All right. And tapered square and coffin usually get mixed up, but I'm going to show you guys how I actually do my coffin. All right, so that first shape right there, you guys, is going to be tapered square, okay? And that nail clipper in it all. You just want to basically clip those sides. And if you had my nail tips, you really didn't need to cut anything, but I just want to show you guys for the video. All right, so our next shape, you guys, is going to be coffin. So for coffin, that's what's going to be different. You're going to actually turn your clipper in, you guys, just a tad bit. So it should be a little slit from the middle. You don't want to cut from up here. You want to cut it from about the middle, okay? And you want to take a little slither, and you're going to bring it in a little bit wider than the number, okay? So tapered square is just a little bit, same thing with coffin, except we're going to turn it in from about the middle of the tip and we are going to cut it at a slight angle, okay? You don't want to overcut it. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you guys can see. I don't know, maybe I should move the napkin, because that white on clear, it makes it look a little weird. I mean, it's a little too, yeah, we'll do it on the marble, guys. That makes it a little pop out a little bit more. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing, you guys. Come underneath the tip, cut it from about the middle. And we're gonna bring that cut in, you guys. Boom. That is how our cut should look for the coffin. All right, so now we're gonna take our file, you guys, and we're just going to have it at an angle. Tapered square, we're keeping it parallel. This one we're gonna have it at an angle. Make sure you're not underneath it though. Make sure you're coming right on the side. I'm gonna do 3 or 4 files on the right side, and I'm gonna switch my file to the other side and do the exact same thing, okay? And you wanna just slowly blend it all together until you have a narrowed shape, okay? All right, so that is what you want that tip to look like when you are shaping coffin. Y'all, I don't know what's going on with the focus today. Okay, hopefully it's a good, has like a little reflection to it. So hopefully it's not too bad on the camera. All right, so you guys see how this one is much more narrow versus our tapered square, okay? And I want you guys to see that. All right, so our tapered square versus our coffin, you guys see that? All right, so now we have our sides blended together just perfectly. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the same thing and make that tip square. We're gonna square it out at the tip, okay? So now we're just gonna square the free edge, and I'm gonna turn mine around. And a lot of people ask me how I get the deep, like how I don't make my shape straight across. I kind of have a C reference on the tip, and I will show you guys off to the side or on the screen real quick what I'm talking about. See that little C on my tip? I mean, at the end of my nails, I kind of got the little deep C curve. I create that on my own, y'all. So when I'm prepping the nail in this step right here, that is when I create that. So I turn it around so that I can push my file downward, and I mean downward towards me. So this side, I'm pushing downward towards me, you guys. And I'm like pushing it up, brushing it up. It's gonna create that deep C that a lot of nail techs be having, or you probably, if you want that kind of style nailing, that's how you get that, okay? So that's why I turn mine upside down, and you'll see what I mean. And not everybody wants this. Like I have some girls, you guys, who ask me like, can you not do that? Baby, that's how I do my nails. So y'all, so we got tapered, square, coffin. This next shape is going to be stiletto, you guys. All right, so stiletto is another one of those tricky shapes, super popular, but it's kind of tricky, not even gonna lie. My finger a little crooked, y'all. It's been through some things, so just ignore that. All right, so when you're cutting stiletto, you're gonna cut it the same way we just cut the coffin, but you wanna cut it a little bit more narrow, okay? So we're going to use the number at the tip as our reference. We want our point to be directly in the middle. So we're gonna cut our sides directly leading to the number at the tip, okay? And so if you cut them, say for instance your client wants their nails shorter, just make sure you kind of have an eye for like what the middle of the nail is, okay? So if we were to cut it a little bit without the number, and it wouldn't also, I'll cut it a little bit. Okay, so we don't have a number to reference, just in case you have to do it a little shorter, okay? So when you're doing stiletto, you guys, keep in mind that it's going to look a little bit shorter at the end, okay? So if your client wants long stiletto, you want to just keep the tip your extra long length, because when you cut the sides and you file it all together, it's going to look shorter because the shape is a narrow shape. So it's going to give the impression that it's shorter, okay? So if they want, for me, if my clients want long stiletto, I would just keep it like this. I wouldn't cut anything, and I would just shape it up because it's going to be a little bit shorter, okay? So I'm going to go in like I cut coffin earlier, and I'm going to just bring it in a little bit more, you guys. All right, and we're going to cut it on both sides. And that's why it's super important to have a straight tip nail cutter, because if not, it won't work, you guys. Your shaping will not come out how you want it to. All right, so look how we just cut that into a coffin shape, but much more narrow, okay? So now all we're going to do is we're going to just take the tip and we're just gonna blend it. We're gonna come underneath though. So remember, everything else was like here, parallel. This one we're gonna come underneath, y'all. And we're going to brush off, file it on both sides equally, so that we can get an even point, okay? And we're just gonna file that point, y'all, underneath, okay? Notice how my file is. It's a little bit underneath that tip, okay? And we're just gonna file. And look how our stiletto is already coming together, okay? I don't know why my hand looks crooked, y'all, because I promise you it's pointing directly. Maybe it's my camera that's crooked. I don't know. All right, so notice how it's already coming together, okay? So we're just gonna continue to do that on both sides, coming from underneath a little bit. I'm gonna do that on the other side. And as you're doing this, you wanna hold it with 2 fingers on that opposite side, okay? All right. All right, so I'm holding it on that side. I'm holding it on that side. Boom, look how sharp and crisp that is. And all you wanna do is keep on filing like that point area, y'all, until you get it as pointed and as crisp as you would like it to be. Look at that. Boom. That's a sharp stiletto. So now, y'all, we'll make this one our oval one, okay? So when I typically do oval, I don't ever do a long oval. I really only do a short or like a medium oval. And I really don't even do oval that often, you guys, because y'all, what the heck is going on with my tips? Wow. It's because I prepped my hand, y'all, like 3 days ago, because I was supposed to record this video like 3 days ago for y'all. And now none of my tips is trying to stay on. So let me reapply these tips. Okay, so y'all, my tip is back stuck now because it wanted to act up. All right, so now y'all, we're gonna cut this like we're cutting coffin, but you want to cut like a wide coffin, okay? And all we're gonna do this time is the exact same thing, y'all, except for instead of us squaring off the bottom, we're just gonna round off the bottom, okay? So first I would like to round it off, and I'm gonna take it all the way up to the side, okay? So I'm gonna blend those sides in, and then we're just going to round it off, y'all. Round it off. And I'd like to bring it in so that I don't have a wide oval. And we're just going to round it on this side. And we're going to do the same thing, y'all, to the other side. And I'm not that great at rounding shapes, y'all. That's why I really don't do like this shape that often. But practice makes perfect, and it's a super popular shape when it comes to like fall and stuff like that. All right. So this is going to be our oval shape. And I'm just going to continue to do both sides, y'all, until you get the shape that you desire. And remember, whatever you do to the left, you want to do to the right. So it's a little wide at first, but if you keep working it, it'll get narrow, okay? And we're just gonna round it off to give us like a round oval shape. Look how good that came out, y'all. Period. Our last shape is going to be our lipstick shape, you guys. So whenever you're cutting lipstick, you want to cut it from the outer corner, I think. Yeah, or make sure whenever you cut them from the same corner. So I'm gonna cut mine from the outer corner. And I like to cut mine from the corner up to a diagonal angle, okay? And you should be cutting like that. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. And you want to cut, I like to cut it from the corner up. Sometimes if you cut it from this part, from the middle to the corner, it comes out like a little crooked. So I like to cut it from the corner up, okay? After I do that, all you're gonna do, y'all, is just make that free edge straight. Like blend it together and make it crisp. It's like a diagonal. And that's all you gotta do for that lipstick. It's really super easy. Whenever you are doing this though, it's kind of like you want to do it on a narrow nail, a narrow shape. Doesn't look that great if you're doing it on a wide nail or a wider shape. So I like to do this when I'm doing like a smaller person's hand, or if you have like narrow fingers or a narrow shape. So make sure that it comes in, and then you want to just cut off the side, y'all. And then all you gotta do is literally just, once you cut it, just blend that part together, y'all. So now that we have pre-cut all of our tips before we lay our acrylic, I'm gonna lay my acrylic and I'll be back. Yeah. Alright, yeah, so I have laid my acrylic on all of the shapes, you guys. And notice how my shapes are basically already still the same. So now I'm just gonna show you guys how to file up the shape and keep the shape once you have already laid your acrylic, okay? So we did the pre-shaping, so now we've laid our acrylic. Now it's time to reshape the nail and clean up our final cleanup, right? Alright, so this is gonna be our tapered square, you guys. All you want to do, like I said earlier, you want to hold the file straight up and down. You don't want to hold it underneath. You don't want to round it off. You want to hold it straight up and down. And the same thing you do to the right, you're going to do to the left, okay? All right, and all you're doing is cleaning up the excess acrylic. You've already shaped your nail. You don't want to reshape the shape you already have, okay? So I just want to clean up. So I'm just going to do a couple strokes on the left side, a couple strokes on the right side, and all I'm doing is keeping it parallel straight up and down to the shape that it already has, okay? We're just gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna, now that we've done the sides, we're just gonna square off those edges, okay? And I'm just going to turn mine upside down so that I can square off those edges, and boom. Y'all see how I got that little deep C? Oh, that looks so good. Tapered square is all done. We're going to move on to our coffin, okay? So coffin, same thing. We're gonna have it at an angle. This would be if we would have it straight up and down, and the way you can find that out, you guys, is holding it by that side wall, by the nail bed. That's gonna be straight up and down, okay? So now we're gonna have the angle, because you know coffin is a narrow shape. So of course we're gonna have it coming inward, not underneath, because we're not trying to round it. We're just gonna have it off to the side, okay? And we're gonna bring it in on both sides, and we're just gonna round off the top, shaping it to our client's natural nail. And then we're gonna, oh God. When you filing on these, y'all, it is not easy. They do not be wanting to stay. So the best thing I can advise is pinching it right on the, from the top to the bottom. Anyways, so narrowing those sides, you guys. Look at that. Coffin versus tapered square. I know people get them confused. See how much more narrow our coffin is than our tapered square? And we're just gonna file the end, and we're gonna square that end off the same way. Y'all know I gotta turn mine upside down. And I lean my file inward, you guys, so I can get that C at the bottom. That nice crisp C curve at the bottom. Here we're gonna move on to stiletto. So stiletto, you're gonna come underneath, you guys, just a little bit. And you're gonna, like I said, round off the top to match your client's natural nail. So we're gonna round it off at the top. And then we're just going to do the same thing we did at the beginning. Come underneath, y'all. Y'all see how straight, slanted? This one, you're gonna come at a diagonal angle. And you're just gonna follow that point. And you're just making it crisp, shaping it off, you guys. Look at that. Look how sharp and crisp that stiletto is. Ooh. And when you filing, like I be turning mine to the side, you're gonna have to turn your client's nail, y'all. Get busy with the file. It's not like a straight up and down thing. No, you're gonna have to have full control of your client's hands. That's why you want their hands to be relaxed, so that you have full control over their hand. All right. So look at how crisp those three shapes are, you guys. That looks really good. All All right, so now we're moving on to oval. Oval, you're going to come underneath, you guys, and we're gonna work our way on both sides. So first things first, we're going to round off those side walls to match, y'all, why is this happening to me today? To match our client's natural nails, right? And now we're just going to round off that bottom. And we're just gonna like seesaw it, y'all, back and forth. And round it off, y'all, round it. And this is like my least favorite shape, y'all, so mine might not be perfect on the oval, but you get the picture. Okay. All right. And the most important thing, you guys, is starting with those side walls so that you can see the shape of your client's nail, so that you can shape to their nail bed, okay? Bada boom, bada bam, bam. All right, so now we have our lip gloss shape, you guys. Last shape. Lip gloss shape is going to be same thing, you guys. We're going to start off by shaping off our side walls first, getting them so we can get an image of what we're going for. Now we see our pretty much just have to clean this up as well, so keep this one straight. So no need to turn it in. We're not narrowing it all. We're just gonna make those sides crisp. So you're gonna go up and down on both sides, y'all. And the only thing that's gonna be different is when you're doing the free edge, you're going to just do it at a slant because it is a slant. So I got to go up and down until I have it perfect. If the bottom half still needs to be filed, just file that bottom in a little bit more and kind of work the bottom. And boom. Boom, you guys. So that is how you get these 5 shapes, you guys. And if you're doing square, you guys, you would literally just do the same thing as tapered square, or as lipstick, I want to say, because you're just going to take the sides, y'all. Start with those side walls and then keep it straight up and down, and then you just want to square off the tip. That's square is pretty common sense, you guys, not hard to do. All you want to do mainly is focus on starting with those side walls, making sure that shape is fitting your client's nail bed. Okay, so these are the shapes, you guys. Get into it, get into it.